Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Grizzly Bear Sim's YouTube channel, and welcome back to Calmsden Farm. This is episode number 6, and we're picking up where we left off yesterday. If you remember, in episode number 5, we we had Sid cut the grass down on field number 10. I believe it's field number 10. Anyway, had him cut the grass down there, and he is presently, at the present time, as Mr. Thornton's dog is wandering off again, at the present time, Sid is raking that grass up into windrows for us, and we are going to come along with our round fast bell wrapper, and we're going to wrap those bells for silage purposes because we need silage on the farm, and that's what we're going to. That's how we're going to make silage in this series. Anyway, at this particular point in time, as I knock my gear shift lever into the wrong gear, let's back up. And this JCB might just be a bit overkill for this baler, but hey, that's okay. We've got Sid running the John Deere with the rake, and so he is probably going to be finished here in a few minutes, but we will go ahead and get started with doing the headlands that he's put in. I believe he has going to put in 3 so that we've got plenty of room to maneuver, and he's been at it for about 10 minutes or so now, so he should probably be far enough ahead where we're not going to get in each other's way. I hope everyone is having a wonderful, wonderful day. It is a beautiful day today here in the Mile High City. We are expecting more snow later today, on top of the 3 inches that we got 2 days ago. And that's all good news, as I've told my wife several times, because she's kind of at the point to where that, she's lived here long enough. And of course, she grew up in Belgium. And let's go ahead and get this thing turned on and see what options we have. B to turn on, B to lower the pickup. We don't want to turn off the automatic drop, and hopefully it's going to just produce a wrap that's going to know what to do. Anyway, my wife grew up in Belgium. They don't get a whole lot of snow there, but on occasion they will. And of course, she also lived in Switzerland for a number of years during her late teen and very early 20s, and so she is fully aware of snow and everything, but she's kind of gotten to the point to where that it has usually by the time that we get to this point of the year, we've had several snowstorms. We've had possibly an accumulation of up to a foot or more of snow, and we're just tired of it. We're just sort of we just sort of had enough of snow. And but as I've told her a couple of times now, I've said, well, honey, the problem with that is that we need the snow, we need the moisture, and unfortunately, we need a lot more to come because we are so far behind. But hopefully, we will continue to get snow. Our snowiest month here in Colorado is typically the February. Well, really March and April, March into early April, I should say, are our snowiest months here, and that's typically when we get the big dumpers, the big blizzards and stuff that I mentioned back, I think, in Elm Creek. I talked a little bit about the snowstorm, excuse me, the snowstorm of 2003 that dumped about 3 feet of snow on Denver in about 36 hours or so. It was just it was an incredible storm. But anyway, nothing like that in the forecast, or at least in the foreseeable forecast. And but we will take these 2 to 3 to 4 inch storms, as many as we can, just to go ahead and build up our water supply and everything else, because the mountains certainly need it. We have been plagued by, just much like California has over the last several years, we have been plagued with a drought year after year after year. And if we don't get enough spring snow in the mountains, then what happens is things get dry up there, and things any sort of spark, and it can be something as simple as a lightning strike. What you might consider to be, you know, um, nothing that man can control, and that is true. But it can be something like that can just burn thousands of acres. And so we certainly don't want things to be so dry that we have problems with that. All right, well, we're going to just continue on and try to get as many bells wrapped as possible. What I told Mr. Thornton was that, we really don't know how quick the grass will grow between now and in winter, and if we will get a little bit later fall cut of grass. I think we've got enough hay. We've got enough hay to go into our winter and spring season. I believe this field will obviously produce enough silage for that. He was kind of asking about, well, do I think that there will be an abundance of silage, and if so, either we kind of hang on to it for insurance purposes, just to make sure that we're going to have enough food to get through the winter and spring, or sell it, or hang on to it, and then once we can start cutting grass again and producing more silage, then go ahead and sell our excess and everything. So I told him, I said, well, we will definitely keep an eye on things and do what is best. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to turn here, because I think if I go ahead and bell that second row there, what's going to end up happening is we are going to get in the way of our rake of Sid. Don't want to do that, so I will come down this way and we'll pick it up so that we can go a little faster, and then come on down this way and clean this up. So, ladies and gentlemen, I went to the grocery store the other day, and here in Colorado, we're coming on 2 years since we've kind of known about this pandemic, since I had first heard the word coronavirus, COVID, that kind of stuff. Was obviously very late 2019. I think like over the Christmas, New Year's break, we kind of started hearing about it. Cases didn't appear in Colorado until I think February timeframe of 2020, and it did not impact our work life and our life, if you will, until about March. That's when we started seeing mask shortages. That's when we started seeing hearing about and even experiencing people being being told to work from home, etc. And during that time, we've experienced challenges here in our grocery stores with keeping food on the shelves. And it's not like you see on TV from certain places in the world where there's no food at all, but it is a bit strange, and it's actually been a problem that's been created for a couple of different reasons. And both, in my opinion, are somewhat unfortunate. Most recently, in our grocery store is a Kroger affiliate called King Soopers. Most recently, the union that the employees belong to had a strike that lasted about 10 days, and that caused some problems because obviously they had difficulties getting people to work. The strike is over now, and everybody's back into the store and everything. But I talked to one of the assistant store managers whom I've kind of gotten to know over the years, and he told me, he says, well, that's really only part of it. He says, in our big meat plant that they have here locally in Colorado, where they're basically taking, and cutting down sides of beef and sides of hogs and that sort of thing, and cutting down ribeyes and T-bones and grinding ground meat and that kind of stuff. During that strike period, they only had a few workers show up. They only was able to get a few workers to come in and work. And so the meat counter is just, the meat counter doesn't have almost anything in it. I mean, it's just pathetic. It's sad. But there's other problems. He was telling me that Kellogg's Corporation that makes cereal and many other things, they have had difficulties in trying to get workers to work. Kind of going back to the example of my local grocery store, they changed their hours, kind of due to COVID, I suppose, but also they changed their store hours because they couldn't get employees to work the evening shifts to basically stock shelves. And normally when you go into a grocery store in the daytime, if you go in the grocery store at 10 o'clock in the morning or 2 o'clock in the afternoon, you typically don't see pallets of groceries sitting in the aisle. You typically don't see employees stocking shelves. You might see an employee stocking a specific item, or maybe it's a vendor that's come in to do a specific thing, like Coca-Cola or something like that. But you typically don't see many piles, stacks of pallets in the aisles with people stocking shelves during the daytime. That's all done at night. Well, they can't get people to work at night, and so they've basically shifted their hours from 24/7 to basically just daytime hours, or normal business hours. I think 6 a.m. until 10 p.m. or something like that. And essentially they're having to stock shelves in the daytime. But a lot of the times the people that you see stocking the shelves before the strike was management. I would often see this assistant manager that I've gotten to know over the years. I would often see him stocking shelves because it needed to be done, and he was the guy that could do it. And it's just one of those things. And I guess the reason why I'm talking about this, it's not to further burden you all, because I try to keep things somewhat positive and everything on my channel. The fact of the matter is we're all in this together, and we all need each other's help to get through this global pandemic, and we all need to do what we can do to try to make it end as quickly as possible, and then basically help everyone out survive through this. But I guess what I'm curious about is knowing kind of what you're seeing in your areas, as far as grocery store shelves and such as that. Are you seeing bare shelves as well in your stores? Are you hearing kind of the same thing that I'm hearing or experiencing about people finding, or stores finding it hard to get people to work and that sort of thing? And just kind of what are you experiencing in your neck of the woods? And is it somewhat similar to mine? Now my dad lives down in Texas, and he lives down in the central part of Texas, where the grocery store HEB is king. They are literally the god of grocery store chains in that part of Texas, and throughout a lot of Texas. And there's some major markets that don't have HEBs, but typically in the Waco, Austin, San Antonio markets, HEB is huge, and they do a lot of really good things for communities and such as that. I mean, anytime you see that there's been a hurricane or something along the Texas Gulf Coast, or even like in Louisiana, HEB are rolling trucks along with like Walmart and stuff like that, moving goods and stuff into the area to help people, moving water and other supplies that people need. And he's telling me a similar stories. Now, I don't think it's quite as bad as what we're experiencing here in Colorado, but it is still. He can go into the store and not find the things that he normally likes to buy, likes to eat, and yeah. So anyway, what is it like for you in your neck of the woods? Let me know in the comments. If you're watching this, I have many friends that are watching the channel, that are subscribed to the channel from different countries. I'd like to hear your viewpoint as well as what you're experiencing where you live. All right, one other thing that I wanted to shout out is to Fury Machine Gaming. Hopefully you are still listening at this point of the video. I have been trying to leave comments on some of your videos, and I don't see them when I come back and view the video. I don't know if they're getting held up in the held for review category. On when you go into YouTube and go into the comments section, you will see comments that, by default you see comments that aren't held for review, and then just to the right of that there is a button that you can click on, and it will show you any comments that get held up for review, or what I have referred to as spam. And not sure if you are seeing those, because I left you a comment on the video that you posted on Wednesday, the 26th of January, where you sort of mentioned my radio voice, and I left a comment and talked a little bit about the experiences that I had back in my 20s, back in the late 1980s, early 1990s, working for a small market radio station, and it being one of my all-time favorite jobs that I've ever had. Just so much fun and so satisfying to be able to do that. So if you're seeing my comments, but for some reason or another YouTube's not getting them posted on the channel, then I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's wrong with my account, or what the situation is. I've been wanting to try to get your email address, because I'd love to have some conversation with you about a few things on email. I was actually going to email you the information a few days ago regarding not only the new textures from OxygenDavid, but also the new planting calendar geo that I talked about in episode number 5. So my email address for you, Fury Machine Gaming, or anyone else that needs to reach out to me, is grizzlybearsims@gmail.com. grizzlybearsims@gmail.com. All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, we're coming up on about 18 minutes into the video, and pretty much all we've been doing is baling with our Vicon fast baler. This is an incredible piece of kit. I used to, back in the Farm Sim 15 and 17 days, I used to absolutely love the Corone big baler that we had, that had this fast baling, auto wrapping, auto ejection function to it, and you could just go to town on making bales, and just absolutely love that. And then I don't think that Corone the Corone baler with that functionality ever came out for Farm Sim 19, or if it did, I just never saw it. But absolutely loving this Vicon that I guess somewhat kind of replaced it as far as what we have access to in the game, because one of the reasons why I don't like doing round bales, even with straw or with hay, is the stop and start, the constant stop and start, and everything. I just like to be able to just move along and do the job that needs to get done, the baling. And I know that in real life, farmers that are round baling with normal round bale balers are having to stop and start, and I know that they're having to do that, and that is true to life for those pieces of equipment. But just for my own gameplay and what I enjoy doing and everything, I just like to be able to, press the gas and go. and go ahead and just let those square bells spit out. And when we're doing silage like with this here, this is so much more productive by being able to. And I don't particularly like round bells because round bells, if you're on a field that has any elevation to it, a hill, an angle, or something like that, your round bells are gonna roll. Now I don't know if that problem has been fixed with FarmSim 22. These are looking like they're staying pretty much where they came off the baler. Of course, this field is almost flat, has a little bit of a drop to it this direction, but I'm not seeing them rolling around and going into the fence lines. That was obviously a problem on many maps for FarmSim 15 or 17 or 19, is that as you would do your round baling, if there was a hill on the field that you were working, those bells are going to roll. And they're going to roll until they hit something that will stop them. And I know that with Colborough Park Farm, in I think in 17, the 17 version, Bullet Bill had addressed that concern where the fence rows, the hedge rows would catch the bells, and there were collisions on them, and it would catch the bells. So at least all the bells would end up along the fence line, and you could go down there and collect. All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, as we're approaching a little past 20 minutes, I'm going to start wrapping things up. I've got a busy day here in my world. I've got some tasks that I need to do for the wife, a few errands that I need to run before the snow starts flying this morning. So I am going to wrap things up here, head upstairs, get another cup of hot coffee, and then head out before the snow starts again, and get these errands run, and then get back in the house and everything before snow starts. So I appreciate you watching. We have, by the way, good news. We have passed the 1900 subscriber mark, and it has held pretty well. I know YouTube kind of auto unsubscribes people from time to time, and you see the counts go up and they come down and they go up and they pass 1900 and they fall back down to 18 something or another. And so but we have held at above 1900 subscribers for a couple of days now, and very much appreciative each and every one of you. Very much like Period Machine Gaming, I don't view you all as subscribers. I really do view you all as friends, and I love hearing from you. I love reading your comments in my videos, and that helps me, makes my day go when you guys either ask a question or leave a comment or tell me about what's going on in your world. And I've asked a few of those questions in this video, so hopefully you guys will let me know your responses to those. And I will see you back here either on Calmsden Farm or over on Elm Creek very soon. Again, thanks for watching, and take good care of yourself and also those around you, and God bless you all. Bye for now.